Yuji is absolutely cooking in the most recent chapter of JJK. I really think he's about to make the winning play, guys. As always, welcome to another video. Today I'll be looking at chapter 265 to try to understand what exactly is going on. Is this Yuji's domain expansion, his innate domain, or what? Let's talk about it. There's a lot of dialogue between Yuji and Sukuna in this one, resulting in a truly moving narrative. Right at the beginning, we get confirmation that what Yuji pulled off last chapter is a phenomenon that takes place when two opponent sorcerers connect in battle, a side effect due to cursed energy being rooted in human emotion. That's what Sukuna thinks, at least, because he says he's experienced it before, but he realized that something is different this time, and asked Yuji if this is his domain. It's clear that even Yuji doesn't know exactly what he did here, because he says so himself. It kinda just happened under duress. He then tells Sukuna that he just wanted to talk to him and asks him to hang with him for a bit. And the theories of them taking a stroll through a memory sequence were mostly on point, as that's pretty much what happens. We see Yuji and Sukuna engage in some banter and share more of a sibling dynamic this chapter, which is really fun to see and pretty funny because you can just see in Sukuna's face that he does not want to be there at all. Yet, he still decides to indulge. He entertains this, and they walk through a couple of different places that were relevant in Yuji's childhood, as they catch some crayfish, pass by a movie theater, see horses at a farm, and do some archery. We even get some panels of baby Yuji. I guess that's where Sukuna draws the line, since he tells Yuji that he's had enough already. Yuji accepts and says that he showed Sukuna all he wanted to show him anyways, but Sukuna could tell that Yuji still wasn't being straightforward with him wherever he's going with all this. So he just tells him to say what he has to say. And it's in this very moment that we see that Yuji has broken away from his cog mentality. If this chapter wasn't pulling on the heartstrings enough already, we then see panels of Yuji's grandpa Wasuke, Junpei, Nanami, Nobara, Choso, and Gojo. Seeing these characters at a moment like this is really special, but it's Yuji's dialogue what elevates this whole chapter from here on forward. Yuji expresses that he used to believe until recently that he should live to fulfill his role as he understood it, thinking that if he died that way, he could still consider it a proper death. But now, he feels like that's not entirely right. He's learned that other roles in life, like raising a family and walking a dog, are just fine. But even without any sort of role like that, even if you don't amount to much in the eyes of someone else, your worth isn't the fact that you're alive. It's within the little fragments of ourselves where the value of life lies. Yuji says that he just couldn't forgive those who acted as if there's no value in that. It never had anything to do with the way you die. It's so fitting how we go from some of the most beloved characters to then Mahito and Sukuna when Yuji says this. He tells Sukuna that he loathes him and concludes that humans aren't tools. They aren't born with any set role. So he doesn't know whether they are fundamentally good or evil. I love how Yuji says that he very well could be doing the wrong thing here, yet he still wanted to try and show Sukuna the humanity of someone other than himself, of someone who Sukuna sees no value in. And in typical Sukuna fashion, he tells Yuji that he doesn't feel a thing. He says he understands everything Yuji's saying, it just doesn't move him. In fact, Sukuna uses Yuji's experience of not expecting anything different when Yuji returned back to the city to emphasize that he feels absolutely nothing. Yuji isn't all that surprised, and Sukuna tells him that he's stunned by his cowardice. Not impressed at all, he asks Yuji if this is what all his anger and hatred towards him amounts to. However, Sukuna then notices something, and he asks Yuji if he's pitying him, if this is his way of showing compassion. Now this is where things get real good. Yuji, looking like quite literally the devil himself, not only tells Sukuna that's exactly right, but he threatens him. Yuji, like we've never seen him before, tells Sukuna to release Megumi, return to his body, and he'll spare his life. Sukuna isn't having it, of course. Bro is mad and clearly nervous. To close the chapter, he basically tells Yuji that he's got things twisted and vows to slaughter everyone Yuji considers to be oh so valuable right in front of his very eyes. Classic Sukuna. But let's be real. Look at him. Bro is crashing out, trying to pull an evil smile because he's probably shitting bricks at the moment. Come on though. Did we really expect Sukuna to fold and take Yuji up on his offer? Of course not. But his reaction to it all is very telling. Sukuna said so himself that although he has witnessed this sort of phenomenon before, it's different this time around. And that's of course because it's Yuji. Yuji has been different since day one. You see, though not confirmed, I'm fairly confident that we've seen this type of link between opponents previously multiple times. Sukuna's interaction with Gojo when he kills him comes first to mind, but I actually wanted to bring up 2 other moments. Well, 3. And that's when both Todo and Choso got their respective memories with Yuji that never happened, and then Choso's last talk with Yuji before he died recently. Correct me if I'm wrong, but besides with Yuji and Sukuna, I can't recall something like this taking place between 2 other characters. With exception of Maki and Mai, but they're twins, so I believe that explains that. What I'm trying to get at is that just like Yuji wasn't exactly sure of how he brought Sukuna into what I believe to be his innate domain, he was responsible for accidentally triggering Choso's and Todo's memories. I know this was debunked by Gege, but that was way before everything that has taken place. So unless he says otherwise again, it makes more sense to me that there was no way he would just give away an endgame spoiler way back then. But that's just me. The domain is a reflection of the soul. I've always believed, and even said in a previous video where I analyzed the meaning of strength in JJK, that Yuji's strength comes from his humanity. Despite being a monster created by a mad scientist sorcerer, Yuji has always been the most humane character in the series. And similar to his sensei, he learned that everyone deserves their right to live, regardless any role or if they're weak or strong. Yuji's humanity has always been behind everything that drives him. And on top of this, his acute perception of the soul, I believe, results in what we're seeing now. I think I like the idea that Yuji opening his domain expansion actually resulted in pulling Sukuna into his innate domain. Though I'm probably totally off, it would make his domain expansion truly unique and fundamentally different from others. I believe there's a good chance that Yuji made a binding vow in the process as well. You see, Yuji actually offered Sukuna a way out, similar to when via binding vow an escape route is provided in a domain with something to gain in return. To get crazy, it did cross my mind that what we're seeing is Yuji's ability to access the cursed realm, with his domain working almost like a gate, pulling his opponent into a place where curses reside, into a place where Yuji might be able to speak directly to the soul. It might be way out there, but I can't help but feel that it would bring Kenjaku's purpose with Yuji full circle. I do want to highlight something that Twitter user Crisby picked up on, and that's how Mahito and Yuji stand on opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to their outlook on life. While Mahito believed that because life just flows, it has no meaning or value, Yuji, for that very same reason, understands that being alive is valuable in itself. Perhaps an analysis for another day. Ultimately, like I said, I think this is the winning play. I can see Sukuna and Yuji going all out from here, but I'm curious to see if Yuji would just beat his ass. I got a weird feeling that we might get a parallel of when Yuji and Sukuna fought in Sukuna's innate domain when it was Sukuna who absolutely smoked Yuji. Except this time, the roles would be reversed. Because we still don't know to what extent Yuji's domain is different to what Sukuna said he's experienced before, it's hard for me to gauge what exactly Sukuna can or can't do in the position he's in. If the perspective switches from this memory-like sequence to a more typical domain expansion, it's gonna be fun to see just how effective Sukuna's anti-domain tricks will be. A sure hit might just be unavoidable no matter what he does, though we'll have to see what that looks like. On another note, if the Yuji Megumi team-up to defeat Sukuna is going to happen at all, it'll probably require Yuji somehow waking up Megumi from within his domain, allowing him to take part in battle if it takes place in Yuji's innate domain. Though I'm really 50-50 on that 2v1 even happening at all, the win is inevitable at this point regardless. All in all, this was truly a refreshing chapter, a great change of pace, and in my opinion, one of the best in the whole story. Yuji's talk may not have moved Sukuna, but it definitely moved a lot of us. Yuji proving why he's such a great main character is definitely something worth admiring in all of manga right now. The world of JJK is so dark, and yet Yuji has always managed to be the brightest light wherever he stands. You know, reading JJK has really been a journey so far, and more than ever it feels like things are coming to a close. It's bittersweet, but I feel like we're witnessing something really special. I want to thank you for reaching the end of the video. I appreciate it. What do you want to see before the story ends? Let me know in the comments. Stick around for more videos on JJK. Much love and take care. Peace.